Hi everybody, and welcome to another video from Carasius Productions. I'm John Mather, and this evening we're going to cover off how to create a team section using nothing but a SoulSections block. So this is continuing on from our last video where you will remember that we created this effect using SoulSections and Font Awesome. And today we're going to continue on and we're going to create this using images as well as incorporating what we've learnt already with Font Awesome. So without further ado, let's get started. So you'll remember that was where we left off, and now we've got our screens here, features block we just created, and I've already got it started with a new wrapper, a text block and a SoulSections block, but there's nothing in them. So as usual, I'm going to start by setting off my aliases. So I'm calling this the team wrapper. I'm going to call this team heading. And in this section, in this block, we'll call this team. Alright, so there we go, we'll get that started. Alright, so opening this team heading block, this is pretty straightforward. This one, we just put in the title team, and we give that a H1 tag. In our SoulSections blocks, we go to our above breakpoint. I'm actually going to change that to 768 pixels. And like working with our Font Awesome icons, we're going to set them all in the one, and we're going to start by setting aliases. I'm going to call this Walter, and for our title we're going to set our team member's name, which will be Walter White, for all you Breaking Bad fans out there. And the tagline will be the title, which he is a chemist and a meth cook. Alright. That's the title and the tagline for the text. I'm just going to copy and paste this lorem ipsum text. Under the text, lorem ipsum. And for the images, I've already got it loaded. Already got them uploaded, and we'll choose our picture of Walter White. All these pictures are set at 150 by 150. In our call to action, that is where we are going to set our Font Awesome icons. So if you remember from our last video under Headway options, we've already got our analytics in there to pull up our Font Awesome text support. And if we go into our icons, and if we look, we have Facebook, FA-Facebook, we want Twitter, FA-Twitter, and we want Skype, which is FA-Skype. Alright, so let's heading back over here. We want to reference these because we actually want to make these working links, so when people hover or click on them they actually work. So we want to start by setting our anchor tag, href, and we want it http facebook.com, and we might have said Walter White if this was a real page, but we're just going to leave it as facebook.com. We also want to make sure that it opens up in a new tab so it doesn't close our website down. And now we want to add in our link, which is just a Font Awesome. So we've got, let's tell it it's a Font Awesome, and we want FA-Facebook. I also want to set this as 2 times for the sizing. If you remember from our last video, they go LG 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to add a special class of my own called Social, and we'll get to more on that in just a second. Let's close our Facebook tag and also close off our link. I'm just going to copy that and paste that in twice. And we're going to make this one Twitter. Oops. Hang on, wrong one. So we'll go twitter.com. Hang on, something's gone wrong there. Let's try that again. Oh no, that's right. Twitter.com. Hang on. No, it hasn't pasted right for some reason. Let's try that. So we'll copy that. We go at the end, Control V. It's not pasting the Font Awesome class, so we'll just type it in. Ah, you know why? I'm not in the code sector. Here we go. Facebook target, Facebook. That is why. There we go. That's better. Helps if you're in the right spot. So Facebook, let's go twitter.com and change our font awesome to Twitter. And in this one we want skype.com and change that to Skype. Now, just cut and paste that. Copy that. Ready for our next one. Alright, so we've got our title, which is Walter's name, the tagline, which is his role, the text, which is just some dummy fill text, his photo, and the call to action, which is Skype and Facebook, etc. links, social media links. I'm just going to click on the plus sign next to here, scroll down, and this one we're going to call Jesse. So Jesse Pinkman. Just going to jump down to the call to action. Oops. Remember from our last video, it jumps back up the top. We've got to find where's Jesse, go to the call to action, click on that, we'll punch that in. This is where you would change your links, but these ones are going to the same one. Jesse's tagline is he is a drug dealer slash meth cook. And we'll just get that lorem ipsum text again, just the dummy fill text, scroll back down to Jesse and paste that in, and we want to choose his video, his picture. Choose image and picture of Jesse. There we go. So that's Jesse taken care of. Let's click on the plus sign and make our third and final staff member, which is Soul Goodman, and Soul's tagline is a lawyer, which every meth cook needs, and text, paste that back in there again, and then we've got Soul's picture, which is that one there, and better call Soul, and then we're going to get his call to action. So we'll just jump back up to Jesse there, and we'll copy and paste all that in for Soul. And there we have it. Now, the other thing we want to know is if we leave that as is and we hit save and go back over to our site, you'll see that it creates them as background images, which could work if depending on the look you're going for, but we're going for this look, so we want the image on top of everything else. So back over to here, and we go to our above breakpoint settings, and we change that from hero cover to image on top. We'll do the same for the mobile view because it's not going to change between those two views, and we'll hit save. Now let's go back to our site, hit refresh, and voila, we are all good to go. Alright, let's close that, and in our visual editor here, we'll just hit refresh here as well, just to bring up our new layout. Let's go over to our header. Let's make those margins 60 and 60, and we'll remove this margin from the bottom here. Alright, over to our heading 1, I'm going to make this font family, sticking with the same fonts we used before. We'll make that cabin condensed. We'll make that font size 60. We'll make the line font color that nice dark blue. We'll make the line height 140%. We're going to make it bold. We're going to align it centrally. We're going to make it all uppercase. And that takes care of that one. The titles for all of our characters, all of our team members here, we'll make that one also cabin font, and we're going to make that font size 24 pixels. We'll make it the same color, and we'll also make this uppercase. And for the lawyer, I'm just going to add in some margins there, and we'll make that font, all I'm going to do with that font is make it uppercase. And this font here, I'm going to give it a line height of 140%, and I'm going to make the color that blue we used before up here. And there we go. Alright, my Skype icon isn't working there. We'll get to that one in a second. Just hit save. Alright, now for these images, you can see we can't click on those to style them. So what we need to do is we need to go over to our editor, but we actually need to find out what is the class, because we're going to use some custom CSS class. So if we go into our Google, or you can do this in Mozilla as well, and we highlight that, we can, if we click on plus, we can see that it is image. If we click on that one, not that one. I don't want to just use image, so I'm going to go try this here. Copy that. If we go back to the CSS, go back to our live CSS and paste this in. I want, oh, that didn't work. Why did that not copy? Oops. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. Make it easier. Let's just clear out that. And we will go to our SoulSections block. Instances, and we have our team. Click on that. We'll go like that. There we go. And we'll go width 150 px, height 150 px, and we want a margin left auto, margin right auto. That didn't work. It condensed it, but it didn't set the images. I might need to add the SoulSections. Let's have a look how I did this before. So let's head over to this one, Visual Editor Design, and let's see what CSS I used. Come on, because we're running out of time. 7 minutes on the clock. Let's go, let's go. So that is how I did it. Block number and image class. Yeah, block number, image. I was right, so why was it not working? that should be centralizing the... Oh, I know what it is. I have just worked it out. If we go back into our visual editor, trip it open twice with this page. You know what I've done? You remember from our last video? If we go to above the breakpoint, we want to set our image width to 100%. There we go. That's what I was doing wrong. There we go. There we go. Alright. Can I delete that out? Yes, I can. Can I delete that out? Yes, I can. Alright. So now we want to do is set our border radius. If you like it as square, you can leave it at that. But if you want it circular like that, just set a border radius of 50%. And if you want the border, so we'll go solid 2px, and just going to go, what color? We'll go that color there. That color there. So that color is that one there. So go back to our editor, and we might make that 4 pixels. And if we want to make it change color on hover, just highlight that, add in a hover effect. We don't need that, we don't need any of this, and then we can make that light blue. So if we go back to here, edit this instance, I'll copy and paste that font color, and back into our CSS editor and paste. So now we've got that hover effect. Alright, fantastic, we're getting there. I've got to re-add my Skype, for some reason that's not working, but so we'll just save that. Head back into our visual editor. Open block options, breakpoint, let's check our call to action. For some reason, because there's no space there, that's all it is, no space. So we'll head down to Jesse, call to action, and between Skype and FA-2 times, and we'll do the same with Soul. Hit save, head back over to there, and now we've got our Skype. Now, if you remember, I created that custom class, added in there that of social. That is because we can now target all 3 of those at once using that simple class. So if I set a background color of OE171C, and then we're going to go color #FFF, and we want margins 0 top and bottom, but we want a 15 pixel margin to the side. Maybe we'll make that 10. We also want to make that width, to make them all the same, 30px, height 30px, and padding, I'm going to add 5px padding. There we go, oops. It's better. And once again, we want to do our border radius 50% to make that round. I also want to make the line height of 100 and no, we want to make that line height of 50 px. Did that actually do anything? There we go. Font size 50 px. Now we could also do that all in here. Go font color, oops, font size 50, font color white, 220px, let's make it 15px, and line height 50px, and that's all. So if we go back to that, we no longer need that. Yes we do. We still need that, we still need that, we still need that, we still need that, but we don't need that. Yes we do. Okay. Alright, so now we've targeted that, but if we want to charge social and make it hover, and we just want to make our background color this one here, same as the images. And there we have it. Click save. And there we have it. We have our font awesome icons with our social media. So if we hit refresh on this, and there we have our team. We've got our hover effects on them. We've got our Skype and social media links all working. So if I click on that, it does open in a new tab. All working perfectly there. The other thing we can do just to finish this off, if we really wanted to, was like we did with our font awesome features up here. We can add in some styling. So if we go into here, we'll set our image. What should we do with our image? We'll go in flip in X, and we'll make that effect last 1 second. So we'll do that with all of them. I'm not going to have any effects on the text. Flip in X, image duration 1 second, and so now if you remember from our last video with our features, I talked about it being able to link into a features post. If you want to link these to post, all you need to do is add your image link over to there, to your, you don't need to do the full link, you can just go Soul Goodman, and that'll link you through to Soul Goodman page if you had that page. Anyway, let's save that. Let's go over to our final site and let's refresh this once that's finished saving. And here we go, refresh, and there we have it. I might put in some delays on those, so we'll go to Soul, we're going to make him delay by a second. Jesse, we're going to make him delay by, oops, under the image, delay by 0.5 seconds. Did I put it in the right spot for Soul? Duration delay 1 second. Hit save. So we should see Walter, then Jesse, then Soul. And there we have it, all nicely working. So that's how you create a team features using images as well as font awesome. If you like, you can go through here. If we go back to, I just noticed that they are running in. It's hard to separate them. So I'm just going to go into these ones here, go to edit instance. I'm just going to add some padding of 30. That didn't work. Maybe if I add some margin. There we go. So we'll just add some margin on there and hit save. Hit refresh. And that definitely looks a lot better now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you for the next installment.